thank you. You see that we have sometimes not enough water in Belgium, and now I will present you what we do when we have too much water. So here you have the process for adaptation to climate change. So different steps. The first step is the preparing the ground. So doing around the table and begin to talk about the impact of climate change. So next slide, please. Yes. So we know that we have some temperature records, some costs about flooding, and so we are. The first step is to make risk and vulnerability assessment, and this is the colored table where we have identify risk and try to assess them in different sectors, and so to give a global view of the global impact of climate change. Then we identify adaptation option, and here for the flood issues, we identify the flood maps and the flood management plans. So it was designed before we talk about adaptation to climate change, but now we make the link with the adaptation plan. So we try to integrate climate change in those plans. So links are on it. Then you have to implement the action and monitor on national scale, but we did the same for the local scale. So we design a tool dedicated to the municipality. So it's adapt the commune approach with the different steps. Also, first the diagnosis tool. Then we have map support for detailed evaluation of the risk. Then we have a website where you can select action and read about case studies. Then you monitor your action and you can report them to, for example, the Covenant of Mayors. Next slide, please. So here I will show you an example of collaboration between different levels, so the regional level and the municipalities, so the local authorities, and also with citizens and farmers. The impact of climate change is soil erosion, and the adaptation action can adapt the spatial planning, and we do the action at local level. So it's the work of my colleagues from the GISER unit. So they made the presentation with me. So I will try to explain them. Try to explain the jobs. Next, please. So it's about yes, as I say, water runoff and mudflow in Wallonia, Belgium. Yes, next. Just to give you some figures for Wallonia, so you must know that 10% of the Wallonia is under flood risk exposure regarding the flood hazard map. More than 60 floods has been reported as natural disaster in these last 60 years. More than 50 million euros has been covered by insurance company in 2018 regarding river overflow, water runoff, of local authorities have faced mudflow and water runoff issues on these last 5 years. And in most cases, there is a misproposal, the bad evolution of the water runoff hazard incident. Next, please. Here you have just how we do for the flood management. So it's involved different levels of administration. So we have the regional level, then the provinces, the local authorities and civil associations. It's like it was mentioned in Flanders. Also, there are collaboration within this level, following the severity of the flood, and the different steps of the flood management program is first to prevent before the flood occurs. Then you can also act on the protection against the flood. You have to inform people about the flooding, and after the flood, you have to analyze the post-crisis. And this is valuable also for the water runoff management and mudflow. So here you have the map of Wallonia. In orange, you see the municipalities that have been impacted by water runoff and mudflow between 2011 and 2019. And in the red point is the municipalities impacted by water runoff and mudflow in 2018. So you see that it's a widespread common issue in Wallonia. Next, please. A few words about the colleagues from GISER. So it's a regional unit working on soil, water, and runoff erosion together with the local authorities. It's an integrated management developing field to the river, and there are proposals towards farmers, impacted citizens, and local authorities. It was created in 2011. It was implemented by the Minister of Agriculture, and there is collaboration with the different Walloon universities. Next, please. People there from GISA use spatial information. So you see here three kinds of maps. There are the first one is the water runoff courses and contribution areas. So typically these maps are the result of research projects conducted in the university, and it gives the axis where the runoff is occurring. You have also the flood hazard maps. So yes, it's a product from also from the and these supports are gathered in one portal in Wallonia. So it's the portal One Map, where everything you want to have on maps, we try to make it available. Next, please. So there are two units or two competencies in the GISA unit. First, there is the R&D, the Research and Development Unit, where they design the cartography, they build the model for the hydrological evolution. They make assessment on pilot sites, and they give validation of different practices in what runoff and erosion. And then we have the expertise unit, where the people give advices, analyzes the watershed, and facilitate the work with the local authorities. So these units work on the prevention and on the correction aspect. Next. So regarding, I give you an example for the prevention. So before the impact is happen. So the unit gives advice on building permits. It's mandatory since June 2017, and it's mandatory for building construction, land excavation, or collective buildings, for overflow and also water runoff and floods. We try to answer the question about the exposure of the project towards the flooding, and also what is the impact of the project towards the downstream residents. how we try to answer to these questions by analyzing the flood streams, topography, the watershed, and the projected vulnerability. Next. Yes, and so the advice beginning with the general overview, so, with the map, and then we zoom at the parcel level, so you see at the right, and then at the street level. So we try to zoom to be the more and more possible, and we try to give advice issues to integrate the risk, and you see a pathway with areas, but to try to keep the water in these areas. Yes, next please. Then you have the correction side. So here you have proposal or risk management when the impact is already present. So it's a collaboration with the GISER and also colleagues from the DAFOR. DAFOR, it's a unit who have the power to rearrange the parcel of agriculture. They give advice on agricultural practices. So they are more at the regional level. But the different steps are the same. So we first we go to the on-site to see the black spotting and discuss with the authorities about prioritization. We made on-field visit. We analyzed the watershed. We made proposals and discussed it with the farmers and the local authorities. And then we also provide assistance in the implementation of the correction element. And last but not least, the unit also provide different publications to sensitize local authorities, citizens, for everyone about these risks of water runoff and also about flood, and try to sensitize about the action that we can put in place to adapt to this impact. This next, please. Okay, so I end my presentation with this general framework of adaptation. Sorry. You should hear me again because my
You are lost a little bit, but
can you? Yes, yep,
If your connection is no good, maybe you can switch off your video.
Yes. Okay, then yes. Just to end my presentation about with this slide, it's just to illustrate how the things are going, and I show you an example here. We were at the local level, so very at the bottom of the slide with the Adaptation, but many things are done more. So we talk about the regional impact assessments and regional adaptation plan. There are also a national adaptation plan in Belgium, collaboration within the Benelux, and of course the different European initiatives. And all these things are interrelated. So thanks to the Covenant of Mayors, we have a pressure on the municipalities to take action for adaptation, and also thanks to the regional assessment and the regional tools developed, we can help the municipalities to have impact assessments or dedicated tools implement. So it's yes, it's a lot of collaboration, and I think that we cannot solve these problems alone in our own office. So we made a lot of discussions, and also what I want to stress is that as I showed, different tools have been already existed before we talk about adaptation, and these tools can be just updates to take into account climate change and to try to take the best adaptation we can. So I end this presentation. The last slide, I think it was with yes. If you want more details about adaptation in Belgium, you can surf on the website at adapttoclimate.be. You have my mail, and if you want more information about the water runoff and the erosion management, you have also all the details here in the slide. So thank you very much.